I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
For decades, The Simpsons has earned a reputation for eerily predicting real-world events. But now, fans are pointing to yet another uncanny prophecy. The show seemingly predicted Donald Trump's nuclear deal proposal to Iran, years before it became a reality. How could a satirical cartoon foresee such a high-stakes geopolitical event? Let's take a look at some of the crazy Simpsons 2025 predictions that await up. Trump negotiates a nuclear deal with Iran. Under the new Trump administration, foreign policy discussions have taken a sharper turn toward direct negotiation. A few years ago, there was talk of loosening sanctions on Iran, but it all went sideways when the United States withdrew from the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. During Trump's first term, there was a maximum pressure campaign of sanctions, pushing Tehran into a corner. Now, with a second Trump presidency, rumors of a fresh nuclear agreement have returned, but they come with more volatility than ever. Some analysts claim the White House has sent letters to Iran's leadership proposing new terms, including more intrusive inspections in exchange for partial sanctions relief. Allegedly, Trump wants to ensure Iran never develops a nuclear weapon. Officials within the administration say they are aiming for a deal that can be labeled stronger and better than the original 2015 arrangement. The Simpsons fans trying to connect these developments to the show sometimes reference Bart to the Future, for no reason other than it became an iconic episode for featuring Trump as a former president. While that episode never depicted a nuclear deal with Iran, some interpret the budget crisis Lisa Simpson inherits as a stand-in for the financial and diplomatic pitfalls that might result from large-scale foreign entanglements. They draw parallels between the show's comedic scenario and the real complexity of forging a nuclear agreement that might upset both Middle Eastern allies like Israel and also critics in Congress. Supporters of a new deal argue it could prevent another war in a tense region. Opponents worry it could embolden hardliners in Tehran. The debate rages on, though it is laced with the same unpredictability that always surrounded discussions in Trump's first term. Human colonization of Mars. Space exploration has accelerated dramatically, with private corporations and national agencies all eyeing the possibility of landing humans on Mars. Elon Musk's SpaceX has tested reusable rockets at a brisk pace, trying out early prototypes. NASA's Artemis missions have set the stage for advanced lunar operations that can serve as a stepping stone to the Red Planet. In the midst of these developments, references pop up to Simpsons episodes featuring futuristic settings, such as one storyline where Lisa joins a mission to colonize Mars and ends up taking the entire Simpson family along for the ride. The comedic tension arises as the Springfield crew tries to adapt to the Spartan conditions of a Mars habitat, elbowing each other in cramped quarters. The show's recurring jokes about cosmic disasters, corporate branding in outer space, and weird zero-G hijinks reflect the broader skepticism about realistic colonization timelines. Yet the momentum for sending people to Mars is no longer merely the stuff of science fiction. Musk has insisted that some version of a Mars-bound starship could fly at least a test crew within a decade. NASA has talked about the 2030s. Other agencies, including Roscosmos and ESA, also have their eyes on the Red Planet. The main goals center on establishing if humans can sustainably live off Earth by refining life support systems, radiation shielding, and closed-loop operations. Excitement is high among space fans, but so is caution. Skeptics point out that simply landing on Mars is extremely difficult, let alone building a colony. Simpsons watchers who cling to the Lisa Goes to Mars storyline point to comedic bits about how corporate sponsors might brand entire sections of the habitat, or how NASA officials might spin questionable press releases about colony progress. Whether any comedic details from the show resurface in real life is still unknown, but the drive to colonize Mars edges ever closer to reality each year. Economic collapse, linked to a Trump presidency. The concept of another Trump-led economic dip is widely debated, with some people insisting that his policies spur significant growth through tax cuts and deregulation, while others worry about ballooning deficits and trade wars. Bart to the Future is the go-to Simpsons episode for this scenario. In that story, Lisa Simpson takes over as president and bemoans the budget crunch left behind by Trump. Fans who love to read real-world parallels into The Simpsons see this as a comedic reflection of repeated warnings about surging national debt, antagonistic trade policies, or larger cyclical recessions. Over the past year, some economists have sounded the alarm that interest rates are rising too fast and national debt is hitting record levels, sparking fears of a credit crunch. In the second Trump administration, under a hypothetical scenario, there might be big battles over the federal debt ceiling, leading to partial government shutdowns. Another issue that emerges is trade friction with allies, especially in Europe and Asia, if new tariffs are introduced or old ones revived. The Simpsons fans who follow these developments draw comedic parallels to Springfield crises, such as when Homer tries to fix money problems with half-baked schemes. During Trump's first term, there were job gains and stock market rises, but critics say deficits soared, casting a shadow on future stability. Now, some people wonder if a second term might put the economy on an even more uncertain path. Hence the new wave of speculation about a singularly Simpsons-style meltdown, a phrase a few internet commentators have used. While no meltdown is certain, it's the kind of dramatic event that lines right up with those who relish The Simpsons as modern oracles. Virtual weddings and holographic ceremonies. A Simpsons marriage storyline in Lisa's wedding sets up a setting with advanced technology, including phone booths that show holographic images. Fans like to connect that glimpse to upcoming innovations, including the idea that in a near future, weddings might happen largely in virtual or augmented environments. The hype around VR, virtual reality, and AR, augmented reality, spiked when major tech companies launched advanced VR headsets, pushing the boundaries of immersive experiences. Some real brides and grooms have already begun streaming weddings in 360-degree video for guests who live far away. While older generations envision the dream setting of a grand, in-person wedding, younger couples might be open to VR or AR components that let distant friends appear as realistic holograms. The Simpsons fans note comedic possibilities if unreliable technology causes digital guests to glitch mid-ceremony, or if a hacking incident replaces the planned ceremony with a random gaming environment. The question is whether technology can replicate the emotional depth of an in-person event, or if it remains a novelty. Corporate event planners have started offering VR-based ceremonies, letting couples pick elaborate fantasy locales to exchange vows. Proponents say this approach saves on costs like venue rentals and decor. The comedic potential is huge, but so is the basic curiosity about what it looks like to say "I do" wearing a headset. Robotrun theme parks. Modern entertainment parks already use animatronics, motion-sensing cameras, and advanced robotics in so many rides that we sometimes forget humans are still running the show. A recurring Simpsons concept is the idea of entire attractions managed and staffed by robots, as in the episode Itchy and Scratchy Land, where a theme park's robotic characters malfunction and turn against visitors. The comedic meltdown resonates with present-day concerns about robotics in the workplace. Some experts say it's only a matter of time before an entertainment giant tries out a mostly automated park, from ticket scanning to ride operation to vendor stands. Recent leaps in AI have allowed robots to greet customers, serve food, and handle routine tasks reliably. However, the potential for mechanical or software failure remains a concern, making a total robo-park improbable in the immediate future. Then again, places like Universal Studios and Disney parks have begun using machines for cleaning, security scanning, and special effects. The idea of advanced robots performing stunts or serving drinks in character costumes might not be far-fetched. Simpsons references pop up often when people ask about what happens if these advanced systems glitch. Fans recall how the cartoon used comedic hyperbole to paint an apocalyptic meltdown. Even if that meltdown scenario is unlikely, the possibility of fully automated park sections feels a lot closer now than it did when The Simpsons first aired the storyline. World War III. A Simpsons Halloween special includes a comedic doomsday scenario, and another segment simply references the consistent fear of global conflict. With tension pockets around the globe, including in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and East Asia, casual mentions of World War III show up more often in media discussions. Because The Simpsons has occasionally satirized the idea of another global conflict, they once joked about Homer yelling, "Wake up, it's World War III," to his family. Some viewers attach the same kind of prediction label to that storyline. One reason this notion resurfaces is that in the current geopolitical environment, alliances are shifting quickly. Observers note that Trump's approach to NATO or to adversaries like China and Iran could either stabilize or destabilize global relations. Supporters of the White House claim his firm stance deters aggressors. Critics warn that unpredictable maneuvers might spark a misunderstanding that grows into something monstrous. The comedic angle in The Simpsons may be overshadowed by the seriousness of real threats, especially as some experts talk about resource conflicts or nuclear standoffs. No storyline in the show exactly outlines how a new global war might start, but the comedic references to world-altering chaos get brought up whenever tensions spike. Black holes on Earth. One especially outlandish Simpsons segment joked about a rapidly expanding black hole consuming Springfield and sending items to an alternate universe. Astrophysicists dismiss the idea of a black hole forming spontaneously on Earth unless triggered by extraordinary cosmic events or exotic particle collisions that remain purely theoretical. Even so, the comedic premise is that scientists and local bureaucrats in Springfield ignore the potential danger until it's too late. Fans sometimes connect this to real science news about miniature black holes possibly forming in high-energy collisions, though experts clarify that if such micro-black holes do appear, they would evaporate almost instantly. That comedic storyline resonates a bit when the media covers stories about black holes discovered relatively close to Earth in cosmic terms, maybe a few thousand light-years away.
Is this even starting to happen?
No, not yet. No, we have another several billion years.
The sense of alarm reappears with each new cosmic finding, even though the actual risk is negligible. Some Simpsons watchers joke that the show predicted a black hole crisis, but it remains a cartoonish exaggeration. Officially, scientists have no reason to worry about synthetic black holes swallowing entire cities. The storyline does highlight the comedic theme of ignoring warnings until a crisis is unstoppable. Mind control through music. In New Kids on the Block, Bart, Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph form a boy band that turns out to be a front for a Navy recruitment program. The show portrays subliminal messages hidden in bubblegum pop songs, urging listeners to join the Navy.
Join the Navy.
They're recruiting people with subliminal messages.
The comedic twist is that even the band members have no idea they are part of a secretive mind control experiment. Some fans see parallels to real conspiracy theories about subliminal messaging in entertainment or speculation about certain media promotions quietly shaping political views. Music as propaganda is not new, historically speaking. Governments have funded morale-boosting programs in wartime, produced anthems, or embedded subtle references in pop culture. The Simpsons spoof simply took the concept to a comedic extreme, imagining the US Navy orchestrating a mind control plan aimed at teenagers through catchy tunes and edgy music videos. In modern times, people do worry about algorithms on streaming platforms or social media shaping thought patterns, but that is somewhat different from the Simpsons scenario. Still, the notion that a cartoon once depicted mind control pop music resonates for those who suspect behind-the-scenes manipulation. Zombie apocalypse. A few Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes dance around the idea of a zombie plague unleashed by a contaminated product or an ancient curse. In one storyline, Krusty Burger's tainted food triggers zombification all over Springfield. The comedic approach might be that bad fast food will turn you into a mindless monster, but fans run with the notion of The Simpsons predicting a zombie apocalypse. Realistically, the possibility of reanimated corpses is low. Yet the comedic metaphor resonates with outbreaks of new diseases, especially after the global shock of COVID-19. Experts sometimes draw a parallel between zombie stories and real-world pandemics, noting how quickly society can devolve into panic when faced with a virus no one understands. Government agencies have even used zombie apocalypse scenarios in drills, partly to keep the training lighthearted, but also to face serious questions about disaster response. Fans highlight the comedic note that in the Simpsons version, the plague gets reversed or overshadowed by some bigger comedic twist. If an actual plague emerged, no comedic safety net would save us. Still, the memory of those cartoonish zombie scenes lingers anytime there is talk about lethal viruses or large-scale quarantines. Solar-powered cars becoming mainstream. Lisa Simpson has been shown as an environmentalist many times, championing solar power for vehicles or renewable energy for the town. One episode features a solar car derby concept, where Lisa invests her time in a car that can run solely on sunlight. only to be thwarted by corporate-backed obstacles. In real life, solar-powered cars are inching closer to practicality, with prototypes combining photovoltaic panels and EV design. While not yet fully mainstream, a handful of companies are exploring lightweight vehicles covered with solar cells that can recharge on the go, at least partially. The main hurdles are energy storage, panel efficiency, and cost. The comedic Simpsons motif might imagine comedic scenarios where a badly placed advertisement blocks the sun for the entire race, or Mr. Burns invests in a method to shield Springfield from sunlight again, as he did in another episode. Advocates for solar cars point out that if technology can improve panel efficiency significantly, and if vehicles remain small and aerodynamic, then solar could handle at least a portion of a commuter's daily range. The dream is that someday you park your car outside, let the sun do its work, and return to a fully charged vehicle. That might seem far off, but The Simpsons bringing it up decades ago is the kind of prediction that dedicated fans enjoy highlighting now that environmental tech is a growing concern. None of these predictions exist solely because of The Simpsons, of course. The show's legacy is that it has touched on such a broad range of topics in its decades-long run that real-world events sometimes align with old gags or references. The comedic nature of the show encourages viewers to look for literal matches, even when the original episodes were mocking or exaggerating real possibilities. The result is a kind of cultural game. Spot the Simpsons storyline in the news.